Hey everybody, it's BDF44 coming at you with another video. Doing my very best to try to free up space. I've had this issue for a couple of days, but I did so I think I got a little time to say whatever I'm going to say. Just read about another MC in Chicago. Chiraq artist got murdered. I don't know what his name is, but I do send condolences to anybody who's lost their life in that senseless war that's going on down there. There's some things I want to talk about, I guess, that kind of parallel that. I think that even though we've determined that black on black crime is a concoction of the imagination of white supremacy that has been successful, it does not mean that the reinforcement of that behavior is their fault. Us continuing to do that shit isn't their fault. They set it in motion. They gave us everything we needed to destroy ourselves. They gave us the circumstances, squalor and terrible conditions and liquor and all these drugs and everything we would need to destroy one another so that they wouldn't have to. And we've successfully put ourselves in position to destroy our very best weapons against them, physical weapons against them. Yes, people like myself can do all this, and that's great. We got people out there who are a bit more braver than me, who'll get on the front lines and do a lot more than I've done thus far. But the reality is, what we really need is these wild, crazy, killer niggas that will take it there. Those are our soldiers. Those are our Marines. Those are our Navy SEALs. All these dudes out here in these streets who have the courage to pick up guns and go out in the front lines and rep they set and rep they hood. What I've come to realize, like literally just eureka on some wow light bulb, is these are the guys that we are supposed to have as disciplined police officers for our communities. These are them. The aggression that they show toward one another is aggression that they are naturally supposed to be showing. Period. They're enforcers. That is who God made them to be. Murderers, mercenaries, ninjas, warlords, all of that shit, all of our best ones of those have been shoved into these little pockets of hood, right? And cultivated and brainwashed and given a culture or created a culture within themselves. I won't take the onus off of us completely at all. I will not do that. And now, instead of focusing on protecting the community and protecting the cause, they're the biggest, what's the word? They're the biggest defense that white supremacy has against us. That's the biggest point that they can make. Well, look at them boys over there. They are why we don't want you to mingle with one another. They are why we are afraid of you. They are why we've given you religion and put you in chains, because if you don't have them, then you're going to act like those guys. And the reality is, yeah, we have some good and bad in our race. We're going to have a lot of people going forward that are going to fit that description. We're not angelic as a race or nothing like that. We just want our fair shot. When we do good, we want to be given what we deserve. When we do bad, then we have to be held accountable just like anybody else. That's the only argument I'll ever make for my people. I'm not saying that we are the chosen few that should be ruling the land and all that bullshit. I don't believe that at all. I just think that we are people, and we want to be treated as such. And when everything that comes with that, just like any other race, you'll have to deal with it. Our good guys, our bad guys, our awful guys, our sick guys. Like, it's just part of being human. But that's what I wanted to say. That's one part of what I wanted to say, that I just feel like our best soldiers, our best bravest and bravest and brightest are sitting in some hood somewhere, pointing a gun at one another, shooting each other because that's what's in their spirit to do. And reality is they have real enemies, but they've been coerced into a culture. Coerced into a culture. That's what I'll say. That allows them to release that aggression and that bloodthirst on one another. And then looking at that post, I saw some people in the comment section mention some, GD's gang, Chicago, and such gangs don't have nothing on the cartel. And I'm saying that's not nothing that we should even be really working into our equation. When it really comes down to it, it's not about who's the biggest and baddest on the block when it comes to black and brown. I think we need to grow up and grow out of that and evolve through that. The reality is we all have a common enemy. And if all of our soldiers, all of our wackiest murderers had the understanding of what the truth is, they would stop fighting each other. They would stop fighting each other over scraps. They're doing wild, fucked up shit to one another over little pockets of corners. When the white supremacy owns everything, and people are cutting each other down and doing all kinds of weird, cruel, and unusual shit to one another so that they can get their portion of what white supremacy allows them to have. All you got to do is turn your attention to white supremacy and they will piss their pants. They have proven that. That's the point. That's the elephant in the room for every black and brown soldier to understand. You need to know this right now. They don't have as many brave people over there as we have over here. Why? Several reasons. One, they ain't been battle tested like this. Who's their oppressor? They don't have one and haven't had one for a long time. So there's no resistance that can match the intensity of the struggle that you faced. They don't have it. They're weak in comparison. Here, literally, it is what it is. Being fat and supreme has made them weak. Okay? This is not something that I'm just thinking up. This is something I've been studying and watching. The actions and the behaviors of a certain type of person. And I'm telling you, they're terrified of me. They're completely terrified. They're terrified of me, and I'm not even that kind of guy. So you know goddamn well they're terrified of you. Stop using our best defensive resources. Bullets, guns, defensive flak jackets, all the shit that y'all got in these hoods that y'all shooting at each other with and using against one another and getting caught by white supremacy and going on the inside, and they keep making money off of your ass in the inside, and you come out and get yourself murdered and they toss your ass into a grave, rinse and repeat. You are allowing them to win when all of our soldiers are fighting one another and ain't nobody pointing their gun at them. None of you niggas is pointing your gun at any of these people who are keeping you down. You're not looking at, for none of these people, legislative makers, these people who are lawmakers, you're not looking at them at all. You're terrified of the consequence of facing your real enemy, but you're getting murdered by your own soldiers. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? I listened to a friend of mine. I used to work with the homie, call him D. Got a lot of respect for this brother. He told me something that sat with me, made me understand the perspective. He's from out here. He's with the red people. You know what it is. He's very, very, very formidable in his clan. You know what I mean? Very formidable. And he told me, he was like, I ain't mad at no white people. All the people that ever hurt me was black. Anybody ever shot at me was black. Anybody I ever shot at was black. Allegedly. And so I say nothing. Kept my mouth shut. When he told me this several years back, I didn't think nothing of it. Let it be. But now that I've gotten older, it's been about some time, some years, I've come to realize my guy had it wrong. Yeah, black people were shooting at you. Yeah, you had to defend yourself in situations. If activities took place, it was your people involved, because you were where you are, where y'all are. Proximity and all that good stuff, we know about that. We know what it is. People who kill people close to them. You know what I mean? That's just how it works, unfortunately. But why you're so close together? Why the circumstances are set there for you to kill one another? Why the conflicts began in the first place between you and whoever your op was? All of those things, all of them, the environment, the The mouse trap, the maze that all of these mice are in, was created by white supremacy. And you may be mad at him for reasons that make sense to you, but the bigger picture is you're a mouse, you're placed in a mouse trap. Or in a maze. That dude, he's a mouse too. He's in a maze. You want to get out of that trap? You got to turn your attention upward. Look up. Don't look around you. You're in a fucking maze. Look up. That's your goal. You want to get out of the maze. You want to get to the people that are controlling the maze. Not necessarily your fellow mice. Okay? This ain't no rat analogy in any kind. I ain't thinking about that shit right now. I'm talking about an analogy in regards to how this whole situation's set up so that you'll get the understanding if you don't already have it. Yes, you're mad at one another. Yeah, but you don't really understand why. You don't really understand that you shouldn't be. You don't really understand that dude right there is your best defense against your real enemy, and you never even live long enough to find out who the fuck that enemy is. You never come to the conclusion that things are happening to you. And a lot of people will tell you not to hold on to the victim mentality. They will shame you into believing that mistreatment is something you're supposed to absorb and not to be damaged by. That is also a tactic of white supremacy. Their whole purpose is to make you not understand your own strength, to not understand your own power, to not know your own worth. As long as you don't know you, they can use you against you and never ever have to face the war that they deserve. Because all of our best soldiers are killing one another, and they get to sit comfortably nestled in positions to continue to earn, continue to destroy, and continue to mock each and every one of us. If you feel like you don't hold no responsibility to your people, you don't know all you need to know yet. That's what that tells me. You just haven't gotten the information you need. You don't know who you are. You don't know why you are where you're at. You don't know why the person next to you is where they're at. And all of that is by design. By design. That shit is not something that is just happenstance. It's not no coincidence. Those guns, you didn't make those. Those guns are not manufactured in your neighborhood. They were placed in your possession. They were put in your midst so that you can capture them. Yes, you have money to get it. You earn that money. Yes, those guns are over there. Someone's selling it to you. But the person who put those guns in that person who's selling it to your hands likely had that in mind, that he wanted those guns to do a specific thing, and you're about to execute his plan. And you're none the wiser. You'll go into your grave thinking that you succeeded in whatever your mission was, to hold down your hood and kill your ops and handle your activities and earn your little piece of the pie, the little corner of the pie. You are playing right into their hands. You are following the plan that they have set for all of our lives. And anybody out here screaming Black Lives Matter, this, that, and the third, is trying to fight against the very thing that you are completely oblivious of, yet so gung-ho about fighting people about. You're going to rather fighting one another without really paying attention to. That's what I'm trying to say. So we need to stop killing ourselves. We need to stop paying attention to stupid little beefs that we have in the street. We need to learn about who the fuck we are as people. Understand that our ops are our army. Start to work out your individual differences. Learn, teach, and get to a point where you're not allowing what you've learned. Later on, when you start to have this enlightenment, don't let it snatch that fire, that wildness, that thing inside of you that will make you go out there and do what you have to do. Because that's what we run into. Because they never afraid of shooting one another. We're never afraid of shooting one another. You will blow a black man away. But then look at a oppressor. Put your hands up, put your gun down, be fearful of your life. But you was just ready to die killing that dude. You were just ready, you was sitting up there gung-ho screaming, yelling. Happy because the bullets was flying your way. Happy to throw bullets back at that dude. But your real enemy, You shook off? You shook at a white dude, right? But you're not shook of shooting your brother though. You're not shook of shooting a black man. How we soldiers when that be the case? How is that? How does that make you a soldier if you living to kill your own? You're not a soldier, dude. That's a fallacy. You've been lied to. The culture you were in, you were raised in, that tells you that you need to kill other black men. That culture is self-destructive culture. You know what another self-destructive culture that's been instilled in some people that they believe for generations and are passionate about, but it's still stupid as fuck? You know what that other culture is? It's racism, fam. It's racism. That same shit that all these people out here fighting against. It's the same goddamn formula. They great-grandparents taught them some bullshit that they follow, that they haven't thought their way through, that they haven't dug deep enough into the history books and tried to find the truth about. They just run with the shit because everybody else ran with it. It's the same thing y'all doing in these hoods, man. They're doing the same shit, just a different topic. It's the same shit. And guess what? Those circumstances for both of these mousetraps, both the racist folks over there who don't have shit and the black folks over here killing each other who don't have shit, both of those things were imagined by white supremacy. They put both of y'all mugs there. They put both of you there. They put them over there, gave them very little to nothing, told them to hate each other. They put them over there, gave them very little to nothing, told them to hate them over there, but never communicate with them. Generations. The understanding of it gets lost in those generational pass downs. It becomes not about what it is that you're doing, but more so about upholding what your grandpappy was on. More so upholding what your dad homies was on. Same shit. They know that. That's a button they've pressed to control you. They know what makes you feel prideful and passionate. They use it against you. So that you'll never turn your attention to them. Because they know they ain't got no defense against you. When you get to it in your heart that you're no longer going to shoot the black man, but you're going to start turning your attention to the oppressor, oh, God. Oh, my God. They're afraid of regular black citizens. I can't stress this enough. Regular Joe Square who ain't never bust a gun in his life. They're terrified of that dude. Because they think he's you. They think he's an enforcer. They think he's out here. They think all of us are savages. And here the savages are, who we need on our side, laid out, slabbed out, killed at the hands of another savage. Over and over and over again. Can you imagine all of the people that have died in gang wars? If we could have all of them niggas back, educate each and every one of them and give them guns and then say, okay, now we're going to try our chances in this fight. Do you know we would win? We would fucking win. Who would beat that? Every dead black gang member who ever lived, given a gun and a resurrection chance. The only contingency is they have to fight against white supremacy. We wouldn't lose. They knew that then. That's why they concocted this genius plan to make you kill yourselves, so you never turn your attention to them. This is the truth about who you are, enforcer, who you are, shooter, who you are, gangster. If you have that fire inside of you, if you're not squeamish and squirmish about weirdo shit that most of us couldn't watch and couldn't see, if you the type of dude that can do that and then eat a sandwich afterwards, guess what you are? Needed. You are needed. You don't even know what your worth is to your own people. Too busy killing us. Too busy thinking you doing good by reinforcing the imagined plan of the oppressor. Hopefully I reach somebody. I hope you understand that there's more work to do in learning more than what I just said here, but going into it and finding out exactly what they did to your ancestors, exactly what they've told their own cousins about you, while keeping them marginalized just like they've done to you. Yes, they treat their own horribly. Only the difference between how they treat us and how they treat them is that they allow them to think that because they're in a better position than us, that they have privilege and supremacy as well. They do not. White supremacy is not about skin color. It's not. It's about keeping those who have already earned countless amounts of wealth in positions to continue to run the world. That's what white supremacy is about. Because if it were for the betterment of all white people, we wouldn't have so many poor white people in this country. You wouldn't have so many people who are of Caucasian descent that have no idea of the history that their ancestors have caused and have done, who run around thinking that the way to live is to accept the mistreatment of others and to accept poverty and squalor, and to accept the fact that you will never get all that you've deserved just from being alive, living in this society, and that is okay. And it's not. It's not when we know there are people out there living easy, making money while they sleep, moving our lives around like we're chess pieces on a board. It's not okay. None of this is okay. These are norms that aren't normal. We're following laws and worshiping symbols by people that didn't have our best interests at heart to begin with. No one is exempt from this. If you live in this country, whether you're a citizen or not, no one is exempt from this. This is just how this thing works. And unfortunately, it is not limited to this country. So even if you're not in America, you may still be reached by the tentacles of white supremacy. Learn what you need to learn. Think about what you need to think about. And please, don't lose your spirit. Just turn your attention elsewhere. That's all I ask of anybody watching my video. If you're one of those people who aren't afraid, who aren't squirmish, who are built for that, and you know who you are, we just need you to turn your attention from people that look like you and learn who your real enemy is. Turn your attention to them. They have flesh and blood bodies too. You can shoot through them too if you have to. Just being honest. It's not politically correct. This is not a good topic. This is not a loving conversation. This is not appropriate by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not fooled by what's coming out of my mouth can be considered toxic, destructive, all of those things. I'm not confused by any of that. I just see this as a means to an end because I'm dealing with a destructive force. Cannot be defeated with kindness. We have hundreds of years of evidence. Anyway, that's what I got, man. Hey, like I said yesterday, I'm not afraid of what happens to me. I'm not. At this stage in my life, I can't be. I just have to open my mouth. And this world's gonna keep spinning without me, so whatever my message is, it'll live on. My name is BDF44, and I'm just getting started.